Hey everybody, Mike with Mike's Gig here. Today I'm going to be exploring the Glarry GPP-105. It's an 88 key semi-weighted digital piano, and this is going to be from the perspective of a non-piano player. I'm primarily a guitar and bass player. I have played piano a little bit throughout the years, taken lessons years and years ago, and I'm going to take it out of the box, set it up, give it a try, see how it goes. So let's get to it. I'm going to do a quick run through of what it can do. It's got a lot of features here, and I'm only going to touch on the surface. When you first start it up, it's set on the first instrument, which is the acoustic grand piano. It's also set on velocity keys. Which I find is a little bit wonky, so I turn off the velocity keys. Like so. To change the sounds, it's the first button here that's labeled tone, which really should be labeled instrument. So you press the instrument button, then the plus or minus selector here. Go to the next instrument. This is the Rhodes. Oh, I also want to mention that right now I'm plugged directly into the recording interface with the 1/4-inch cable to the instrument input. And also a little helpful hint is if you wanted to play silently, so to speak, just plugging from the line out into the interface will not defeat the internal speakers on the keyboard. So if you want to record or play silently into another unit and listen on headphones, you'll need to plug headphones into the back even if you're not using those headphones. And that will defeat the speakers that are around the back side here. And next up, they have a rhythm built-in, rhythm box. And the way you do this, you press the rhythm, press a number, and press the start button. It's got a bunch of different rhythms. You can adjust the speed. You can do fills. It's got demos built in. All right, sounds pretty good. Transpose, rhythm volume. It's got built-in lessons. I haven't played around with this much, but from what I can tell, you start the lesson and you have to hit the right key. Well, we need to work on that. And then, of course, you've got the overall volume control here in the center. The selector switch, start and stop switch. sync, chord, fill-in, dual key, key drum, One of the most fun functions of this keyboard is the record and play function. You can press the record, play a line, and then you can play along with that. Just like that. And there it is. Let's get it set up. Wow, this really feels like a cheap piece of plastic. But you know what? It is. $149. You get the keyboard. Let's take a little closer look at that. It's got all these keys on it. All these controls. Got things to plug in, things to plug out. But that's not all. You also get a stand. And you get a pedal, headphones, power adapter, music stand, and a dust cover. So let's get this set up, see how it plays, see how it sounds. We'll go from there. And I'm in the process of assembling the stand. It has two different size tubes that go onto the supports. Got a long tube that goes on the bottom, and you've got a short tube that goes on the top. There's some things lost in translation on their instructions. For one thing, they don't tell you what to do with this guy here. This screws into the bottom of the keyboard to hold it onto the stand. This part needs to go on to this tube. So I'm going to need to take this tube off and slide this on. And then we'll be able to connect the keyboard to the stand. One helpful hint, whenever you're assembling anything, don't tighten down the screws until you've got all the screws in. Like I have all these loosely set right now. And another thing they say is on the bottom there's glue. There's a leveling glue. What they mean to say is there's leveling rubber, so to speak. And what that looks like, how that works, is, I don't know if you can see it clearly here, but it's not the same size all the way around. So you rotate it to get your level. And make sure you put these screws through these holes before you try to assemble it onto the stand, because it is a little tricky getting that to go through, as you can see. But once you get it through, then you can put it on here. Okay, I think I've got it now. See, this just pops off, and I had to completely remove this screw. And as far as the position of this holder or securing strap, whatever you want to call it, I think it wants to hang off towards the outside, swing up like this, and they give you a couple different positions to mount it to secure the keyboard to the stand. I guess you don't really need this. You could just set the keyboard on top of the stand. Alright, I have it just sitting on the stand right now, and it looks pretty good. Looks pretty cool. So now I'll tighten up all the screws and we'll get into the actual playability of this thing. The GPP-105 has a decent owner's manual. It'll get you up and running in no time. It comes with 200 keyboard sounds, 200 rhythms, and 70 demo songs. The default setting is for grand piano number 1 and velocity keys. The velocity, I think, doesn't work very well, so I turned that off, so it's non-velocity right now. And you're listening to it through the built-in 3-watt stereo speakers through a mono microphone. Sounds fairly decent for what it is. Has a built-in drum machine. You can easily change the tempo. Press the tempo key and then the plus or minus keys. So it has a lot of different rhythms to go through there. Here's the Rhodes piano sound. Press the tone button again, which is not tone, but it's have a sustain pedal. We're listening at volumes around 3 o'clock right now. The keyboard has 200 sounds. Let's go through just a few of them. All right, well, that's we've got to about 90 or so. You get the idea. There's a lot of sounds in this thing, and a lot of them sound pretty usable. Overall, I'd say it's a good value for $149. You get the keyboard, you get the stand, you get a sustain pedal, you get some headphones, which don't sound that great, but they work. Okay, if you don't have any other headphones, these will work for you for a while. The headphone output is not very loud. If you need to turn it up, you're going to want to plug it into something else. Like I said, overall, it's a decent sounding keyboard. The action is decent. Didn't like the velocity keys at all. Give it a try. $149.